Welcome to the Success Sensei podcast for anyone interested in success, happiness, and balance. We'll teach you how to be a black belt at life. And now, your host, former professional fighter, multiple world champion, entrepreneur, and investor, Robert Devane.
Bowing in. This is Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei, helping you to win at life one kick and punch at a time. Episode 249. Stealth Wealth. Welcome to the main event.
It's the Success Sensei podcast main event.
Stealth Wealth is today's episode. Before I get into it, I am recording this remotely, aka in my mobile office, aka my dirty van. So if you hear some outside noise, the birds are giving it loads, which is great, but you might get a little bit of traffic. I'm in a quiet location, but you might get the odd vehicle going by. So let's get straight into this. Stealth Wealth. You've basically got, two choices, and I see two different types of people out there. I see the ones who pretend they have money and the ones that pretend they don't have money. Obviously, there's lots of different people in between. But, most people's strategies boil down to one or the other. Pretending you have more money than you have, and pretending you have less money than you have. So your strategy, I suppose, is up to you if you're going to adopt a strategy. And I see a lot of people who have consciously or subconsciously adopted one of those strategies. I suppose it all boils down to the community that you live in or the career that you have chosen. So what I mean by that is, let's take community first of all. If you live in an affluent community, it's very highly likely that you're going to want to have the appearance of affluence. So in a lot of cases, if you don't genuinely have that affluence, that wealth, you're going to have to keep up with the Joneses. You're going to have to certainly look like you fit in, and you might play that game of trying to appear to be more affluent, more rich and more wealthy. And the same with, I live in a farming community, so it's actually the opposite. It would be considered vulgar to look like you were too wealthy or too rich, and to fit in. There's many people with a lot of wealth and a lot of generational wealth, and that would be considered very rich, and they look very normal. In fact, the opposite. They look can look poor, I suppose. They can have old vehicles, old clothes, work clothes, mucky welly boots, oil stained boiler suits, and really just look like hard working individuals, and you would have absolutely no idea as to the wealth and the assets that they actually have. And it's the same with careers. Some careers you will be required to look more successful than you possibly are, to look more financially independent than you possibly are, because money can attract money. Depending on your career, you might not be able to sell your own financial services or your own product if you can't show signs that you yourself have benefited from your own knowledge or your own service or your own product. So in many careers, it can be important to power dress, to look the part, to have the flash car, to have the flash clothes. Now, on the opposite side of that, there's many careers that you're going to be dealing with other people who are on the same level as you, if not below your economic status, if you're someone of affluence and someone of wealth. And to get the best prices, to get the best deals, it's very important that they don't see you as being rich, because you're not going to get those prices on that type of a street level. So there's many careers that you wouldn't want people to think that you're financially secure, that you'd want in fact, the opposite. Poverty can get you the lowest prices, or your appearance of poverty can get you the lowest prices on the deals if, your career involves, as I said, more marketplace transactions. So money can attract money. Absolutely. But, the appearance of poverty can also get you the lowest prices, depending on your community, depending on your career, and depending on your strategy. Some people attempt to be both. There's many people I've come across that like to boast about, the value of something that they have or they own. And when I've pulled them up on it and questioned and said to them, you didn't really pay that much for that item or that particular service or that particular the thing, they suddenly reverse and try to go with the appearance of more poverty and say, of course I didn't, I only paid a fraction of that. So at the start of the conversation, they wanted to appear to be very affluent and very rich by telling me the value of something, and then when I call them on it, then they say, well, of course they didn't pay that, they paid a fraction of it, so they got it for a discounted price. So now they're trying to appear to be frugal and less affluent, depending, and I suppose mirroring what they think the person in front of them is going to admire, and tailoring the story to fit. I'm sure there's many people that you've come across like that. It's easy to call out either person, the person who's pretending to be, more poor than they actually are, the person that's pretending to be more rich than they actually are. You can take a bit of pleasure in that sometimes, if people aren't being both, or they're feeding you misinformation. If you are a bit of a devil and you like to catch people out, if you let them talk long enough and you let them say enough, they generally won't be able to hide their cards. They generally will show you their cards, and you'll have a fair idea as to where they stand. Not that it's anybody's business in the first place, but when people go out of their way to make it your business and try to discuss these things with you and try to put you down a certain path, it's very easy to figure out whether they're bullshitting or not, I suppose. Speaking of stealth wealth, there's many people during COVID have amassed a lot of wealth. There's more money, as I've spoken about in the past, on deposit than ever before. There's people quite quietly putting away more money than ever due to reduced expenses, due to the black market is alive and stronger than ever at the moment. And I suppose anyone that is dealing with cash is very lucky that this didn't happen, this pandemic, this lockdown didn't happen a little bit further along the timeline when things could have been cashless, and then really there would have been absolutely zero opportunity for anybody. I know there's different apps and there's different money exchange methods that can be used, but really if it had been a cashless society and we've gone into lockdown, a lot of the black market would have ceased to exist. Morally, rightly or wrongly, I won't get into that, but the black market is alive and stronger than ever. And as I said, there's a lot of people during COVID times, a lot of people that are struggling. There's a lot of people that will tell you that they're struggling to try to, fit in, I suppose. And again, stealth wealth, hide the fact that they're amassing more than the majority of people. And there's a lot of people during COVID that COVID has been very good to them financially. As I said, they've saved a lot of money. They've earned a lot of money. So you just don't know. The thing about finance, though, as I said, everyone's personal situation is not really, your business, but to see where you're at, or to understand demographics, and it can be important to compare to a certain point, to know where you are, or to feel where you should be at, or to understand the average. That's why statistics are important. It's a hazardous road comparing with others. We all know that, but you can't not compare it at the same time. It's good to have certain benchmarks. So just make sure that you don't cross over an unhealthy threshold into negative behavior when it comes to comparing, or it comes to setting yourself goals or setting yourself benchmarks. Do you see much stealth wealth around you these days? Do you operate on a stealth wealth level? Do you operate on an ostentatious, flamboyant level? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your community is like. Let me know what your career is like. Are you in a career that power dressing, power driving, and the appearance of wealth is important? Are you in the career that hiding any riches or any wealth is very important to you? Let me know. It's something that interests me. I have a great interest in people and in people's stories. So if you want to share with me anonymously or not, I would love to hear from you. message me anytime through the successsensei.com. Thank you for listening. I'm Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei. Life is a fight you can enjoy and win. Bowing out.
This has been the Success Sensei, fighting the winning fight. So add us, subscribe, like, and comment. Keep those hands up and keep moving forward.